It's a roller coaster ride from the beginning to the end. It just doesn't stop.
He's kind of cartwheeling through life, and so I wanted the film to have this wild energy also, just moving forward.
This idea of being able to use 100% of your brain really catches everyone.
We have to tell the whole film from Eddie's perspective. It's like as if we're inside of his head.
Now we have to shoot.
Now we're shooting.
I never talked to anybody who read the script that didn't think that it was just incredible from its inception.
Very interesting story. It pulls you in. There's so much that entertains you.
I found the book, The Dark Fields, in a secondhand bookstore, read it for fun. About halfway through, I started to get this tingle that it could be a Hollywood film. I got a hold of the rights with my own money and wrote the script.
That's when I kind of got involved and we started to figure out how to put it together and where to put it together.
I thought it was a provocative idea, just verging on science fiction, but not really, kind of realistic and a timely idea, because everybody's in labs right now trying to make the ultimate smart drug.
We set out on our director search and we met a lot of directors, and Neil was really the one who stood out.
He just has a totally instinctive understanding about how to tell this story.
And he's really collaborative. He appreciates what actors bring.
He was very clear from the beginning. He had all these photographs that he had used as examples of how aesthetically he wanted the movie to be.
He's taking this wild ride, and so what I try to do is make the movie a wild ride as well, just kind of this freewheeling, tumbling forward, crazy story.
We shot the movie in 44 days, which is incredible given the scope and how much we had to get on film.
We had 2 weeks of shooting in New York. We had a lot to shoot, so we kind of decided to shoot fast.
Starting any shoot in New York, which I've done more than once, is always a difficult shakedown cruise. Crowd control, forget it. You can't do it. There are New Yorkers wandering through your shots. Fortunately, they're usually blasé enough not to look up.
We shot on the street, in traffic, not shutting down traffic, mixing real people in with extras.
You couldn't hear Neil. He was about 20 feet away from me, but I couldn't hear him because of all the streets and the buses, and I'm just, I think that has to inform the kinetic energy in the scene.
Man, you look like shit. Really let yourself go, huh? What's up?
In comparison to a lot of other films where maybe you have 2 or 3 days to shoot a location out, every day we are at a new location, sometimes 2 locations in the same day, so it's been quite challenging.
We'd get these base camps and then we would just kind of send off our band to shoot, trying to keep as low profile as we can.
We decided to just go run and gun. A lot of it was handheld.
Hey, okay.
It has that feeling of stolen footage and like it's shot for real.
Gate is good. On the move to the Palomar.
We are shooting 1 or 2 exterior scenes in Philadelphia that are supposed to be in New York, and this is one of them right around the corner here. So we found a pretty good street in Philadelphia, and we stocked it with police cars and film crews.
We shot the interiors in Philadelphia and a lot of generic exteriors.
It's always madness when you're shooting on the street. We've got Robert De Niro and Bradley Cooper, and it's hard to know who gets the bigger cheers from the masses of people that are hanging around. The fact that we came to Puerto Vallarta is a very small thing, but it is kind of the cap for the exhilarating ascent that he has.
Living the highlight, just like really cool vignette shots. You can just see our stunt driver in the white shirt up there, getting into position.
It's about a 75-foot drop, and it's pretty crazy.
Ben Bray came in to help coordinate the choreography of the action.
I'm literally just overseeing the fight sequences we had in Philadelphia and also here in Mexico City.
There's sort of this climactic scene. It's a very physical, viscerally horrific scene.
We worked hand in hand with stunt coordinator Jeff Gibson in New York. Bradley Cooper did the whole stunt himself, the whole fight himself. A double was only used for rehearsals.
We have a stunt double here. He's not doing anything. He's actually watching Bradley Cooper do all his own stunts.
Because you're telling the story through Eddie's eyes, you really can't have other actors do it.
There's a life and death struggle, which is more of an actor moment than it is a stunt moment.
Yeah. Right, okay.
A plasma television fight is a major beat.
Bradley did an amazing job. In fact, Bradley gave one of my guys a slight concussion, but he's fine. Took about 3 stitches.
You know, people got hurt, not just me, which I don't feel good about. I felt a little good when I did it, but not, and right afterwards I didn't feel so good about it. That's what happens when a stuntman's not doing it.
Bradley's just a visible guy who's great, and we really killed it on this one.
He's totally game for all of it. Yeah, he's been a gamer this whole movie for all the stuff we've done.
He's the quickest actor we've ever worked with. When he runs from a standing still, he just takes off, and we have a hard time keeping up with him.
The most interesting part about the film is that it's a total transformation of a character. It had a whole visual art that we could achieve in the film. It's all told from sort of subjective photography rather than just being observant.
This movie has these very distinct looks.
There's a different visual language for, each segment of the film, whether he's on the drug or off the drug or before he's been on the drug. Each of those sections have a different visual style, different lensing, different color palette, the way we compose the shots, the way we move the camera, the way we don't move the camera, depending on what state of mind he's in.
Well, I'm behind on my book, and it's pretty well polluting my days and nights, if you want to know.
When Eddie is off NZT, actually before he even experiences it, the world, I think, is a little lower contrast, maybe a little grayer, a little duller.
There's never a primary to be seen. Eddie's life is contrasted with the life of the streets. Life of the streets in Chinatown is yellow and red. If you get an overwhelming impression because that's the signage. But in his own personal space, it is simple and poor, grungy, and not too clean.
Just like that.
When he's off the drug, the movie has a much more handheld kind of feel, rougher, more raw.
At times, very overexposed film, and on purpose, being a little ugly with it. We also decided to shoot on different film stocks. With the Fuji film stock, it felt like it was perfect for the documentary style. It has a lot of latitude, it holds highlights. We decided to use very hard light at times, and it holds all of that beautifully. It burns out a little bit, but it's kind of very nice, and it holds the blacks, the shadows you can see. We desaturated a little bit, and it's a little cool.
When Eddie's on the drug, the world looks different. So technically that means there's going to have to be a lot of changes.
Suddenly, everything is brighter. He can see in greater detail.
When he gets on the drug, it becomes very polished and it becomes kind of glossy and kind of more colorful. We decided to go with Kodak. It's very clean grain, it's very rich, and it really makes the two worlds stand apart. We decided to be a little bit below the eye line, to be with wider lenses.
Swooping kind of feel to it. So we're filming with this thing called a Technocrane. So De Niro will be talking and this crane will be sort of wrapping around him. Very cool. And grabbing people as well.
We're close to him. It's all a little bit more graphic in a way rather than being messy with it.
There are a number of critical visual effects techniques that we're using to enhance the story.
When he's taking the drug and he is processing information, I wanted to come up with a way to show that and to show it so you kind of felt like what it was to be on the drug.
What's behind me being built here is a camera rig for an effect that we call the 360-degree effect. It introduces us to what he's capable of while he's on the drug. This is our gateway into that.
I like the idea of it metaphorically, that he's kind of has eyes in the back of his head, he can see everything. Kind of a very surreal, intense image, this warped image all squeezed together.
This one is vertical. The other ones have given us a horizontal hula hoop view of someone's world as they move through it. This one is going to give us that same loop, but only vertically. Another example is what we're calling the doppelganger, or the split Eddie effect, where Eddie appears multiple times in the same scene, showing that he has double the presence. But then, too much of a good thing, it starts to burn out.
He starts having something that we call time skipping, and he loses blocks of time.
We go to a little more frenetic world. It's still maybe hyper bright and hyper colorful, but there's something amiss. It's starting to break down.
For me, it wasn't trying to come up with the newest visual effect. It was trying to shoot it in such a way that you just felt like what it felt. For him to miss time, to sort of step into, the street when he thought he was in a restaurant.
Where it will take us, Lynn, you can't even imagine.
It should be a good visual experience for an audience.
There are moments in life, moments when you know you've crossed a bridge, your old life is over.
We did some stuff that I think hasn't been seen before.
How far will you go? What will you do to attain success?